Here, like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Swami, Dr. Shalini for inviting me here, and deep regards to Honorable Justice Singh, and all the dignitaries, the fellow speakers, the school teachers and principals who are here. So I'll take few inputs from my previous speakers from this desk. I won't make this as a pravachan. I'm missing Dr. Saha here. He, in fact, had set up a few of the points which I wanted to make here, and I'm sure he would have been excited to go through some of the insights which I'm about to present in terms of digitization. I think Ms. Babur. So I think she also mentioned about upskilling as well. So few things around that. So yeah, so just moving further, I'd like to give a quick introduction to myself. Over 20 years of work experience in the IT. I've worked across multiple global organizations. Currently, I'm working with Tata Advanced Systems, which is primarily a defense manufacturing company, and I'm heading the cybersecurity business over there. Before that, I was with Coforge for a good amount of time, and earlier known as NIT Technologies. But I've also worked with a number of global brands, the likes of Eurostar, Sita, ING Bank, Brightspeed, etc. From the education standpoint, I'm a MCA and BSc Computer Science. I'm an alumni of University of Delhi, and a father of two teenagers. So this particular session from me is more from, of course, from the cybersecurity standpoint, but also I have a view of what the teenagers or the upcoming generation, faces or they do, and what are the pitfalls. And also, from the, I'd like to take you to just not too distant past, So just few years ago, the education was being conducted like this, right? We are all aware, right? The classroom-based teaching. Right? This was pre-COVID scenario. The major turnaround in India, or I would say even globally, so that happened during the pandemic. We moved here. I think everybody would agree, right? So that is the major shift or the major digitalization step which has happened in India and globally is the pandemic. So from the classrooms, everybody moved over to the digital part, right? And here I was a witness to, of course, my kids being in front of the screens, and being a parent, I used to also, see what they're doing. I used to see, the teachers who were just about the near of their retirement age, 55 plus or so, they were struggling, right, while giving those lectures or those classes online, whether through their mobile phones or through their digital assets, whatever they used to use. So that was a revelation that, I mean, that's, I don't take it as an offense, but there was a good amount of lag or a difference between how the kids were adapting to the change and as compared to the teachers. Yes, they did very good. There were teachers who adapted to the technology. They were, but again, there are some teachers who changed the landscape of the education globally. So yeah, so what the opportunities which the digitization has brought here? Well, enhanced learning experience. It's there are multiple ways of teaching now. There are there are audiovisual videos and multimedia resources which are available. There are well, inclusion is there right from and digitalization is not now only available to the affluent class or upper middle class or even middle class. Even everywhere, all across the society, they are using digital means of learning and of course entertaining themselves as well. The learning is also now personalized, as few of my fellow speakers will talk about the platforms which are available for tailored education, and then the collaboration, right? So the collaboration has happened both from the students and teachers. There are, we are using Google Classrooms and products from Adobe for collaboration between teachers and students, right? A lot of things have happened, and that has kind of improvised the way of learning. A lot of scenarios or a lot of things which were difficult to ingest as a student. So they are now simplified a lot. I've personally seen some videos from Khan Academy. And I'm not endorsing any product or services here, but that is something which I came across, and even during the free time in the pandemic, I saw a number of YouTube channels which popped up, and they got a good traction. Yeah. So what is the impact of this overall digitalization that has brought to the society? And as per recent research, so I'm this just about 2022, the overall time spent by teens on social media, the online videos, games, etc., that is on this graph here. So 64% of the teens, they are spending more than 3 hours per day on all these different digital instruments. Right? So whether the social media, online videos, games, and all that. So that is, that's a thing to ponder. Like, how healthy it is to be online for over 3 hours a day, and even 28% or so, they are more than 6 hours a day. Right? So it's getting into an addiction now. So what is the overall impact of this increasing digitalization? Right? And I'll come to the cybersecurity standpoint or the cybersecurity views in a while. So the 40% of the children who were surveyed, so they revealed a lot of sensitive personal information, including their home addresses. So that is another thing which, of course, I'll carry in the few subsequent slides. But sharing personal information is really a big no on these social media platforms. It's like when I say about personal information, it's not only the home address, of course. So I also talked about giving their phone numbers in malls versus giving the details on the security guard and stuff like that. I think the parents here would agree, and even to some extent the teachers here will agree that the teenagers now, they don't want to live without their smartphones. People are carrying them to the bed, and I think this is the scenario with most of us now. Right? In order to sign up to some services like Meta or Instagram and others, a number of kids, they lie about their age. So even if there are 10 years old kids, you'll find their accounts online. If you see if you try to sign up anyone as below 12 years of age, Facebook or Instagram and other platforms, they do not allow. But it's very easy to bypass that and to lie about their age and get into any of these platforms. But what happens after that? A lot of kids, they experience online dangers, bullying, even financial threats, and they were exposed to inappropriate content. Right? So these are some of the threats or the scenarios which the students are facing, or rather the teenagers are facing with the increasing digitalization. And I would particularly talk about the gaming here. I think there is a lot of young population here. They must be doing a lot of gaming. So what's happened in the gaming, and this is a Kaspersky report. So a lot of malicious files are being transferred in the guise of games. Even games which are designed for 3 to 8-year-old kids, right? So they are being tampered with a lot of malware. And and it's not the kids who are the target, it's their parents who are the target. So mostly the games are downloaded on their mobiles, right? People give their mobile phones to the kids. Game is installed, an upgrade comes in, or there's a free game which is available. There's a link which comes in, and what happens? That free game is there. There's no harm. Let's download it. Let's install it. My kid will have a good time. So what's happening is that there's a malware which is being installed through the backdoor onto your device, and it is monitoring all your activities, right, including your financial information, your messages, and everything. And then we get to hear that I did not even see an OTP, but somehow my bank account got debited by so much amount, right? And there was my personal information which got exposed over the internet or to some rogue elements. So how is it happening? Is that because you allowed those malware or those games to be installed on your mobile without verifying? Even the most popular titles, Minecraft and Roblox. Now, even I have even seen reports where there is a thing called Roblox coins, or I am just not able to recall the exact name of it. So there are some coins which are there in Roblox. It's an online game, and in order to gain these coins, kids are enticed upon to give them some information, and kids are going out of the way to provide that kind of information from their parents, or even leading to stealing and all that. So these titles are being exploited. There are kind of, I would rather not say, but there are kind of vultures which are there on the internet, and they are trying to eye everything with regards to your personal information, your financial information, and everything. So some of the gaming platforms, and some of the threats on the gaming platforms, of course, there are phishing attacks, there are malware distribution which is happening, account hijacking, there are in-game scams, frauds, social engineering is being done, and a lot of data breaches. Right? In the interest of time, I'll just move further here. So basically, where some of the significant breaches which have happened to the educational institutes globally. University of California in San Francisco. So they paid $1.14 million to ransomware attackers. So what's happening is the colleges or the institutes who are hosting the user or the student data, they are not keeping it secure. That is leading to malware attacks, the ransomware attacks. Even their research reports, they were not available. And this is all crucial information. Similarly, Baltimore County Public School, again there is a ransomware, and it caused a lot of data loss. What's happening is that, again, I understand there are challenges in the educational environment with regards to the funds and all that, but there is one thing which we can do. Keep the data backups, keep it as latest and greatest as possible, so that just in case of any disaster, you are able to recover your data. That is the basic thing which we would expect from any of the organizations, whether it is an enterprise or from a school or a college. Have your data backed up, and of course, there are a couple of other things with regards to cyber hygiene, that continuous training on cybersecurity for the staff, to the students, teachers, and also ensure that the identity and access management of all the people who are using this infrastructure that is secure. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is keep the password secure. Do not give access to unauthorized people in the environment. So shouldn't be sharing the password. So these are like basic hygienes which are there. So what's the threatscape in threat landscape in education? So as the technology is increasing, we are using a lot of technology now, and all this technology is now connected to the internet. So anything which is connected to the internet, you assume that there is a threat to that particular device. There's a student data which is there. And that student data itself, so that contains the student name, photograph, email address, phone numbers, date of birth, parents' details, and all that stuff. Right? So that data is a valuable data for any of the hacker or any of the person who wants to misuse that data. And of course, with the Indian Data Privacy Act coming in, right? So uh, this will also lead a compliance issue going forward once the Personal Data Privacy Act comes into play. Phishing attacks, again to extract information from the students' teachers, and then there's a malware threats to all the school networks. When I say school, it's all school as well as colleges. So how do we build a culture of cybersecurity? So first of all, integrate the cybersecurity education as a part of the school's curriculum, right? So basically teach the cyber hygiene, right? We all talk about the personal hygiene. There's also a cyber hygiene. Right? We promote digital citizenship, that how to behave in the digitalized environment. So it's a different world altogether, right? What all things you should do, what all things you should not do. Encourage open communication about online safety. There is a lot of cases which are there on cyberbullying. How do we ensure that the kids, the students who are using this internet and the various digital means, they are safe from cyberbullying? So we see that there are a lot of parallel or the unofficial channels which get opened up. There are WhatsApp groups. Being a parent, I see there are Telegram groups, there are WhatsApp groups. There is an official group of the class, and then there is an unofficial group. Yeah. So there's all the messages which are going on, and once in a while, I'm kind of I do keep on checking my kids' messages. Of course, the younger one is I can still do that. He's still in school. I see there are scenarios where kids kind of pull each other's legs, and there are scenarios, and in fact, where there are cases leading to cyberbullying. Well, there is cyber risk management where, in case there is a disaster which happens, when I say disaster, for example, there's a ransomware attack which happens on the infrastructure. You're not able to access your servers or your data. What to do? Is there a response plan which is there? Basically, that's overlapping both risk management and the response plan. And then collaborate with the industry and have more sessions like this to educate your students, teachers, as to how to safeguard themselves on the cyber side. Some of the strategies which I would like to share here for protecting the infrastructure. Of course, as I said earlier, use strong passwords, do not share the passwords. One of the easier things that we use, I think everybody here would be using Gmail as maybe a personal or a official mode of communication. Use two-factor authentication. It's very easy to set up, right? So everyone knows about OTP, right? So why don't secure your emails and your online accounts with a two-factor authentication? So of course, wherever available. Any unsolicited links which are there, please think 5 times before clicking that, right? Because that is something which is a threat in disguise, right? So it might be a very lucrative offer for maybe as an Amazon gift voucher or something like that. Please do not click, and nothing is free in this world. I think somebody else also said before me here. Keep your software and devices patched and stay updated. Keep yourself updated about what's going on in the overall world from the cybersecurity standpoint. So talking about cyber threats, there are two different areas. One is the social threat, and another one is the digital threat. Social threat is which involves extortion, manipulation, and someone will try to gain your trust And even that we have of late we have seen the digital hijacking which is happening. So somebody calls up and says that there is a parcel for you, and that has been stuck in customs and all that. So that is a part of social threats. But digital threats, so which is executed through a malware or a ransomware, or even there's a backdoor which gets installed on your systems. Talking about cybercrime, so there are multiple types of cybercrimes which are happening these days, right from phishing, identity theft, malware attacks, data breaches, hacking, and then cyberbullying. So I'll touch base on two areas here, phishing and cyberbullying. I'll give you more insights about how to identify some phishing mails and how to protect yourself from it, and about cyberbullying. Phishing attempts, I'm sure everybody would have received these kind of mails, and how to recognize that. So there are some common elements which we have seen, and in the enterprise we get a lot of phishing mails, basically even targeting CEOs. There are scenarios where people have sent out mails sending that I'm sitting in some other country. The CEO is basically masquerading as CEO. CEO is sitting in some other country, needs funds, is stuck in some business negotiation, and then there are scenarios where this mail or this particular transaction has reached to the finance part as well, the finance department as well. They were about to transfer good amount of money, but those scenarios were stopped just in time. So basically, few things like checking the sender email address, check for spelling, grammar, avoid clicking on suspicious links, and for any personal or financial information you verify. So if somebody is asking you to transfer money by clicking a link, and even if it's like as close as your spouse, just call up, verify, and do not just plain simple rely on a message or an email. Trust your instincts, and also the last line here: there is no free lunch. There is nothing is free. So don't fall for these scams. Already covered this. So some of the examples of phishing emails, phishing scams. Somebody will drop you a mail asking for account verification. You have received an email from, say, Amazon, Flipkart, or any other subscription which you have verified, Netflix, for example. So mail will come in asking you to verify your links, and all those red areas are identified which you need to look for, and these are all the red flags. So basically, it will not carry most of the times it will not carry your name. It will be a generic name like dear user or dear customer. There will be a link, and it will always carry a sense of urgency. Do it now. Do it within 24 hours. And then there's also a threat that what will happen if you do not act in time or you do not click this link. The moment you click it, there are a number of scripts, there are a number of URLs which will pass through, and there's a possibility that some backdoor can be installed just by clicking the link. There are also reports of no-click attacks which are happening in the industry. Another one is the e-commerce site example, that you'll just see a mail that there's an item which you have ordered, and they are asking you to verify the shipping information, and they'll ask you to verify the shipping address. Again, the moment you click this link, there is a lot of personal information which is gone. Cyberbullying. So that's something which we don't talk much often, and this is basically in the education context and in the school and colleges context. This is gaining importance now. So what's happening is that the kids, students, or even for that matter, there are online forums where as adults we participate, and it could be any forum, right? Even for that matter, group chat on X, for example. There's a post on Twitter or Facebook, and people start fighting, or which we call in a more refined way, trolling. Right? So that is again a type of cyberbullying. So what are these things? So there's a harassment. There is blaming. There's online fights which use inflammatory language. Exclusion. People don't, and you would have, you would recall, or you would have seen some scenarios in WhatsApp group particularly, or Telegram groups. Exclude someone from a group, right? So we don't like this. So everybody forms a group, and one fine day, one student or one particular participant that says something, everybody throws them out of the group. Yeah. Outing, basically sharing someone's private information publicly. There are transactions, or there are chats going on between two persons. One of the person gets offended by something, it makes the chats public. He or she. Masquerading, pretending to be someone else to spread false information. Again, how to prevent this? Of course, this through education, counseling, communication, and then having a support system in place. So that is very important. So as teachers, as educators, we need to see what all, if there is any child or any student which is getting missed out from the entire communication, or it's being deliberately being not included in the groups. So it's not only the physical bullying which is there in the classes, that bullying has also gone to the online world. It's basically counseling, having a counselor, the access to a counselor, that will be really helpful. And if there are any policies and procedures that can be set up to enforce anti-bullying in schools and workplaces, that will be really helpful here. And I would like to kind of close this session of mine with one of the things that. So there's a news article which caught my eye a few months back. So there was a particular man who lost his cell phone, and while on his way to the police station to lodge a complaint for snatching of the phone, he stopped by to ask for some directions. The guy told him that he'll take him where, but he needs a cigarette in return. Right? First he goes and buys a cigarette for him. The guy parked his bike, went to buy the cigarettes, and what happened? The other guy took away his bike. So the point I'm trying to make here is that don't trust anyone. While it's the physical world here, but there's also an online world where you cannot leave your belongings or your data in custody of somebody else, right? So always trust your instincts. Do not fall for these scams, and stay safe, stay vigilant.